Hi everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of our podcast series, The Founders Lab with Krishna Kumar. And as always, we have Mr. Krishna Kumar, AI architect and MVP specialist with us today to guide the session. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. It's been some time. We had an earlier session for startup founders.
So, sir, in the last couple episodes, we talked about building fast and getting the MVP out in the market firstly. Mm-hmm. But when the founders step into the real world, they start getting the pressure of the cost. Let me just start right there. The many founders start saving money in the development.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because it's the main part of their product. And why does the first option of saving money when they come to the development team? Why do they do that?
That's a peculiar human psychology, and which has grown over a period of time. That development is the easiest and the simplest part of any startup for them. Basically, it's not. Now, just think of a scenario. Why do you go and purchase a premium car? Okay, you pay 5 times, 5x, 10x the cost of a normal car. That's an investment that you do in the initial stages. And the results you get is as you go ahead, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, as you keep on driving, is when you experience the results.
Yes.
Why do you do that? It's the same way for a startup. People have to understand, especially in today's technology age, unless it's a manufacturing firm where you need to invest in technology, non-manufacturing startups, SaaS-based startups or applications that's been built, that's the foundation of everything. And unless you have the foundation right, it's not going to work for you.
Yes.
Founders should come into the startup world with a concept that they are dedicating their time and the money that they saved over a period of time. The most important thing that they dedicate or spend or the expenses for them is their time.
Yes.
They should have a proper checklist or Excel sheet maintained of how many hours they're spending on it. Multiply that with the last salaries they got.
Okay.
Then they know how much of money they are spending on it. Make it connected to money. Make it connected to dollars. Unless you don't do that, it looks like your money is free. You're free.
Yes.
And that is where you start thinking that it's cheaper to hire someone less skilled and you spend time over that. But you forget the fact that you are not an experienced hands on that.
Yeah.
Your experience is limited. Why should you go and hire someone who is cheaper thinking that you can help? No, internet cannot help you overnight get into a new technology space, help them architect something, build something. No, it cannot happen.
Yes.
Then why do you have people with experience?
Yeah.
Why do you, as a founder, you must have done a graduation in engineering or maybe management studies. Why do you spend 2, 3, 4 years of your life learning that? And along with that, the amount of money you spend on that, along with that, add on the amount of time you spend on that. That's the investment you did to learn something. Same way, you are into the startup world now. It's a new thing for you. You need to invest your time, your money, but also find out that everything you cannot do. If you have gone while going to a college, you must have seen, you have different professors for different subjects.
Yes.
When everything is online, everything is on table, why can't one professor teach you everything?
Yeah.
They can't, no?
Yeah.
Same way, you can't do everything. You need to learn to delegate. And while delegating, the quality of the people with whom you delegate is what will decide whether you are successful or whether you are going to die.
Yes.
You cannot become a $1 billion company by investing $2,000 or $4,000. You forget it, it's not possible. Unless you find money for that. If you can't find money for that, then why go and get into a startup? Better work somewhere, earn money, enjoy your life. You need to find money. That's the only way you can start growing. Yes, you need not invest everything into the same bucket. It can be you can start with a smaller bucket and then keep on increasing the size of your bucket as you grow, as you scale. But that bucket has to be there. That money has to be there. And you develop, for a starter specifically, develop the core value that you're going to give a customer. For that, you invest the money. Don't think of or dream of or try to build the whole application with this small money. It will not reach you anywhere.
Yes.
Now, what happens? That's the reason when 90% of the startups die, what they feel is, I have wasted 2 years of my life.
Yeah.
I have wasted 1 year of my life. I didn't have an income. I broke my working career. I took loans from my father, from my brother, from my friends to get this doing, but I couldn't be successful.
Yes.
The reason was you went with something that is cheap.
Yes.
Everything cheap cannot, anything cheap, not everything, anything cheap cannot get you what you want. Always understand, if you are cheap, would you work for a $500 or $1,000 a month? You wouldn't.
No.
Now, if you wouldn't, and you think you are smart, why would someone, at least somewhere at your levels, why would you work with that?
Yes.
And there's a reason. If someone is coming to work with you and telling he can work at $100, $1,000 a month, there's a reason for that.
Of course.
It's just because he is not capable and nobody wants him.
Yes.
If somebody paid him 2,000 or 1,200, he will run away from you. He is trying to build his career,
Yes.
whereas you are trying to screw your career. Very simple. Now, what you want to do is what you need to decide.
Yeah.
That's why I always say, startups, your development cost has to be at least 45 to 50% of your total budgets before thinking of getting into startup. Make a proper budget sheet for that. Remaining for 50 to 55%, a percentage has to, 10%, 15% has to go for the infrastructure, depending on the complexity of the thing you're building, and the remaining 45% should go to marketing. Howsoever good you build, howsoever major problem you are trying to solve, unless the people know about it, it's simply you are the best kept secret in this world. Nobody knows about you. You're awesome, you're great, but nobody knows about you.
Yeah.
Why would they come to you?
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Yeah, I think we should never compromise on the development of our product, because in the process of cost cutting, it will cost you more, much more.
Exactly. Over a long time, it will cost you more. Your customers,
Yes.
the time when you are supposed to be scaling, talking to customers and getting
Yeah.
more customers, you are spending time with the development team, fixing the bugs,
Yes.
which you should not be doing. If your development team have been capable, you would have a lesser number of bugs. Number two, every application has a bug. There's no doubt about it. Even Apple comes with bugs.
Yes.
No, bugs are there. The development team should be capable of getting the feedback and automatically working on the bugs and pushing the updates, rather than you spending time on that. Whereas your time should be spent on only customer acquisition, handling customers. That is what a startup should be. Then only you can even dream of dreaming in a night, or maybe daydreaming. You can be successful.
Yes.
Even if you need to dream of that, this should be the cycle you should follow. Else you need not even dream, it's a doom.
Yeah.
You should be 100% assured that what I've earned and what I've taken on loan, I'm going to put in a well where there is no water. Simple. You're not going to get a single bucket out of it.
Most founders miss out that part when it comes to marketing.
Yes. I have experiences with some founders who spend a lot getting into fine-tuning the application with lots of bells, whistles. Finally, they couldn't market it.
Yeah.
And that whole build-up that they had built, that amount of time they had spent, the development money they had spent, the servers they had spent on, all went into waste.
Yeah.
They had to die a natural death unnaturally. They had to die fast. Unfortunate of that.
Yes.
Because people start creating or doing a startup looks simple and fairly easy from the outside. When you get into the jungle, you know what kind of animals are there.
Yeah.
What kind of temperatures are there? What kind of environment is there? Unless you get in the jungle, how do you know that?
Yeah.
Either you learn and make an understanding from other people's experiences, or you need to do that. So for doing that, you need a runway. If you need a runway, you need money for that. Without money, nothing happens. You cannot build a startup in part-time. To be very honest, gentlemen, build up a startup if you want to build. The startup has to be a full-time, 100% job, and the only job, even without your family, that's the only job that you do 24 hours a day. That's the only thing you think of 24 hours a day. Then only you can build something successful. If you're looking at 2 hours, I have free time in a part-time and try to build something, it won't work out. I had a lot of experiences with a lot of people like that. Be clear on that, it will not work out.
Okay, that makes sense. It's a short-term decision driven by the pressure. So when we say, the cheap development, what does it actually look like in the real world? Like, what do the founders get when they opt for the low-cost option?
See, to begin with, you get inexperienced developers.
Yeah.
Then to cut the cost, what you do is there is no architecture that's decided, that's worked upon. The business logic is not properly understood and converted into the programming logic. There is no testing, it's dropped out.
Okay.
And there is no documentation either. It's just made something in a way that it fits and it works.
Okay. More like
Very
half-baked.
closely coupled time kind of thing. Lot of times you will find logics are hard coded. And if you want to make a change somewhere, you need to break the code and redo that. Dynamic picking of data and then building logic of the fly is not there. So these are the major things which stop you from scaling, major things which start breaking down as number of users increase.
Yes.
This is where people get stuck. That's how you reduce cost. So if these things are removed out, these bottlenecks are removed, your cost automatically inflates. And when that inflates, the output that comes is very easier. Simple, if you take a landing page, people say, yes, half an hour in Claude can generate a landing page for you.
Yes.
But think a proper landing page, how much of complexities come into that? How much of feedbacks, customer feedbacks is generated from this? How many places you are tracking who is looking at what? How many things are editable and changeable on the fly as we test different markets. We test A and B kind of messaging. We can test or change the customer's view. Everything can be changed in this. Will all this come in this 1 hour? Nothing will come in it. You have one page like a leaflet that you print and put it on that. And that is what not going to give you customer scaling or customer growth. It's just a way of putting these leaflets onto the homes by posting it, saying that yes, we are available. They come and see what you are available, you don't have anything to show them. You don't know who has come and how much they have stayed on your site, and if they have gone back, why they have gone back. They didn't find a proper way to connect to you online or talk to you. They didn't find any AI applications that can track their behavior. All these things are important. This is what happens when you cut cost. I'm just giving a simple landing page, which when cut cost, what happens? How much of things you miss? How much of things are blown out unwantedly? This can happen with landing page. Think of the whole application you are building. You are having nothing, just something that works between you and your development team. Nothing more than that. Try plugging in 50 users, it's boom, it breaks.
Cheap development always comes with its own flaws, which founders misses out on many times.
I don't see cheap development is basically trying to squeeze out a developer's cost, a developer's salary and get the thing. Cheap development is where corners are cut. Lot of things that's not visible today is removed out. The process is totally disconnected. Lot of things just to make sure it works is hard coded, like AI does. AI hard codes the logics, the caches into the system. And when you put it on a server and try to run customers through that, it breaks. It's normal. It's not meant to be doing that. It's meant to be prototyping agent.
Yeah.
It's not a development agent. It's a prototyping. Yes, you can develop a prototype and showcase to 50 customers before the initial stages to say whether this idea is going to work, whether they are going to pay you for building something like this. To understand that, you can use that.
Yeah.
Else, it's not development.
Real life scenarios are always different.
Exactly. See, basically, someone cannot develop an application with $2,000 or $1,000 and launch it and become a Facebook of coming Facebook or coming Microsoft. It cannot happen, no?
Yeah.
No, if you see and look at options, you go to Apple, you find the Apple phones, Apple AirPods. For example, you take the AirPods, I'll make it simpler for you. The price they bill you for the AirPods, the same look and feel, some kind of quality, not that kind of quality, you will get off around maybe $10 or $20, $50.
Okay.
And they charge you how much? Why do they charge you?
Yeah.
Because they have a proper process in place, they have tested it out. When it comes to you in the box, you open, put in the ears, it starts working. And it works for years together, unless they don't want you to use it. Another irony there. They make you change their systems in 4 to 5 years, forcibly, even if that's good. So, is it because Apple doesn't know how to do cost cutting? They have the best brains in the world with them. They also know. They don't do that there because they want to give you quality.
Yeah.
And if you have quality, your customers stay with you. Else your customers say you bye-bye and go.
Yeah.
And you're going for the customers who are cheap. And the cheap customers will never bring you money.
Yes, of course.
If you want to make money, and that's what business is for, it's not for the cheap customers. If you're working with the cheap customers, then it should be like you're working in volumes. Huge volumes. The Japanese concept of selling. Earn $1 for product, sell $100,000. Whereas you go to German and US product, they will send $1 for 10. They will earn $10 in one product and they will sell 1,000 products. Profits are same. So difference is, this product you purchase with $1 profit will not be able to give the kind of support, customer care, that this dollars where you pay $10 profit to them. They have money to support you. They have money to take care of you. They have money to bring you updates. Without that, doesn't work.
Yes.
Nobody can work if they can't put the food on their table. And money, they need to put the food on their table. And it cannot be garbage. It has to be good food.
Yes. The quality and value will be always
Always
different.
there.
Yes.
And there is a value you appreciate, you need to pay. And if you pay for that, they'll be able to support you.
Yes, of course.
Create the value out of it.
Yeah. So from the outside, it will look fine, and for the founder, it will be working, and that's the one thing we often hear. But it works. But when the founders get a false kind of confidence from this, when does this thinking go wrong?
This is a vicious cycle basically. That development team develops it, tests it, it works for them.
Yeah.
The founder tests it on his systems, it works for him. There are a few reasons for this. One is the development team knows actually what's the process of that, what's the flow of the data. He tests as per that.
Yeah.
It works. If the founder, he also knows what's the flow of that. See, he tests, it works. Secondly, development team and the founders, they are technology oriented. So they have the best systems with them. Now you put it out in the open market. What happens is different kinds of devices, different versions of devices, multiple people trying to find or hitting the same button multiple times, same time.
Yes.
This is what starts breaking the system. Slowly it crashes at places. And the time when you are having or starting to get more customers, when you are trying to feel yourself comfortable and happy that you are growing, is the time you slowly find customers dropping out without even knowing why.
Yeah.
Because you have lost control of your customers, you have got busy with the development team in building bells and whistles, Now that your customers are coming, now you need additional bells and whistles. You start building that. So this is where you actually lose focus on the customers. And they drop you and go off slowly without you even knowing. 1 month you had 150 customers, next month you find 300 customers, third month you find 250. Well, yeah, I still had 250, but just think the third month the growth of 150 has not happened, plus the minus of 25 has happened. So your minus for that month is 200 or 175. If that scale in compounded way, where are you going to stay?
Yes.
So your focus has to be on the customers and making customers understand, talking to customers, knowing their feedback and pushing it back to development team.
Yes.
Your development team has to work independently to make sure you can grow and all the technical things are taken care of by them.
Yeah.
We don't need the founder to get engrossed into a development process.
Yes. Well, I think the founders should be focusing more onto the customers and their feedbacks and what value we can put out there for the customers.
Exactly. Founders' focus has to be 110% on the market. See, as you start getting customers, you will start getting signals.
Yeah.
And that signals needs to be understood by the developer, by the founders, and put it back into the system as feedback. This is why it helps.
Yeah. So the issues don't show up immediately. They show up at the worst possible time. So when do founders realize that the decision to go with the cheap development is becoming a serious problem for them?
Yes, they start understanding that pretty fast. The red flags start coming up as soon as they start getting customers. Now, at once end of the rope, you have customers coming in. You have done your marketing exercise pretty well. So customers are coming in. And this is the time when you want new features to go. You want to ship new features. But you find that the systems are breaking. It's bug fixing that's going on mainly now. Other than that, what happens is when you have more customers coming in, your systems start breaking and you find it's not possible to upgrade. It's not possible to scale. It starts creating more bugs as you add features. Because one small feature added brings in more bugs. Your system is not stable.
Yes.
Then comes the hard truth that we need to build the same thing from scratch. The whole thing needs to be rebuilt. This is one of the major things that hit the founders in the back of the head. They find that everything they have got done till now has gone under the waters. Nothing could be retrieved out of that. And you want someone to build totally from scratch, that too at a very faster pace, and should be scalable, should be without bugs, because you're already having traction with customers.
Yes.
And then you find your old cheap developers are not ready to do that. They cannot take over that because it's really huge work. They know that, and at that cost, it's not possible to work for them also.
Yeah.
They may have teams better than that, but it's not possible to work for them with this cost.
Yes.
And that is when you find that, yes, what you spend is just a small piece of the cake. The bigger cake of spending is still left, that you need to do it now. When you should be concentrating on increasing the customers, bringing up new features, shipping them fast every week if possible. You find you're going back to the table and rebuilding the whole thing.
They realize this at the stage of scaling, which is also a crucial part.
Yes, by this what happens is you start losing customers.
Yeah, yes.
With all the bugs, your freezers, things hanging, you start losing customers.
So just when the growth started to feel exciting, it's when the massive pressure starts coming in on the system, right? So how exactly does this cheap development start affecting when more users coming in?
Yeah, your system starts freezing. It stops working at times because your server load increases. Because the data structures and APIs are not properly optimized and built. You have problems with your new modules that's been built. It's not compatible. The integration into the existing systems become tough, and you spend more time there. With all these things, when you should be scaling, when you should be going fast, we find that how do we make the system, keep the system running.
Yeah.
Rather than when you should be going fast, the question that comes before it is not how to scale, not how to speed up development, not how to deliver faster. It comes to how do we keep the system running?
How do we keep these customers?
How do we keep the system running without bugs and kind of things? This is where majorly many of the startups break and drop down in the initial stages because they find the cost of rebuilding is 4 times, 5 times minimum higher than what they have spent for that. And along with that, the scaling options, the newer features, everything plugs in. Unless you plug in all those things, you keep the customers happy by giving them new functions, new features, new dashboards. The probability of them keeping on using it goes lower. You also need to give them financial offers, freebies you need to give them. And for that, all you need money.
Yes.
And unless you are planned for that, you come to a stage where you are dead stop, you can't do anything. So it's not basically a scaling problem, it's basically a problem with the foundation you have built. If the foundation would have been stronger, scaling would have been easier for you. This is where you come to know that yes, you are doing it wrong.
The development at the initial stages are always very important, right?
Absolutely, because before you start building, you should have it on the drawing board, and the drawing board has to be properly drawn. Once then it's drawn, then only it goes to the manufacturing facility.
Yeah.
So what we do is we cut the whole stage of the drawing board. It goes to the manufacturing, and the workers who are there on the conveyor belt, they build it as they want.
Yeah.
And the manager sitting there tries to fit everything with nuts and bolts or stickers and gum in between. They try to stick all the parts together.
Yeah.
How long do you think it's going to stay?
And I assume it doesn't just affect the system, it also starts affecting the people who are working on it. What happens to the team who are working on this poorly built system?
Exactly. What happens is when you come to a situation that you are starting getting customers and your application starts showing bugs, freezes or breakups, and you get in more team members, you get in senior developers into the team. They come excited to work and do the upgrades for you because that was your plan. But here they find that they hit the wall. They are working on the code wherein the structure is very low levels. They don't have proper documentation as usual. And the code base flow is also different. Other than that, the guys who have built it are now missing because the founder has sent them away.
Yeah.
Whereas they should be, the guys who have built that with the funding you are given, with the budget you are given, as per the budget they have built it for you. If you want a Rolls Royce, you should be paying for a Rolls Royce, not paying for a station wagon and trying to tell them to build a Rolls Royce. They can't do that. And unless we understand that, we get stuck.
Yes.
So the developers you normally get onboarded now are either on hourly basis or on salary basis. And the runway is expanding. They are trying to find the bugs. They are trying to fix the bugs initially and then plan for the new upgrades and features. But they find they are stuck with the bugs and features, trying to understand the code, try to relearn the code, try to re-modify them where needed, try to put in some structures into that. This is the background work they are doing, which could have been avoided if you had a good and better and bigger team do it for you.
Yes. It can turn very frustrating for the team also.
Absolutely, because the team is not in a position to show deliverables at the end of the day. They have been working for 8 hours, 10 hours, but they can't show what they have done because they have been trying to find out issues, trying to read through the codes and trying to make small fixes that can help fix these bugs. So there's nothing on the front end that you can see.
Yeah.
You find the runway is draining, people are being paid, but nothing is coming up on the front. You get frustrated, the team gets more frustrated.
All these are because of a poorly built foundation.
Because of the bad way you started,
Yeah.
trying to cut corners where you should not have. You could have cut corners in some other place, not here.
One poor decision is haunting you till the end.
Absolutely. One poor decision will haunt him till the time he becomes $1 billion company also.
Yeah.
Still, he will have that bad night dreams of the days he had in the initial stages.
And while all of this are happening internally, the users are still interacting with the product.
Exactly.
No? So, what impact does this have on the user experience and most importantly on the trust of customers?
Exactly. See, these are two different worlds in between a brick wall. The brick wall and the room.
Yeah.
That room is your software which interacts with these two kind of people. And two are in different modes. The users are wanting more. They want to use more. They want to spend money, pay you money. Whereas on the back end, the developers are trying to find a way how to fix it. They are trying to find a way how to make this not stop running and keep this continuously running. They're stuck with that problem. In this, when the time lag between these two increases, the center wall widens up. When that widens, your connect with the customers go. And once that is gone, they lose trust in you. There is a saying, you can build trust after years of dedication, but you can kill that trust in one single stroke.
Of course.
One single session of the software, the trust can be gone. They drop you and go. Along with going, with all the hype and market you have created, they spread out a word within the circles, word of mouth that we call, that is the wrong thing. It doesn't work the way you want. They're just spending money on advertisements, not on, or spending money on marketing and not on actual developing the product. If this goes out in the market, retrieving back those customers and that bad mouthing is pretty difficult for anybody. That's why you must have seen some bigger companies launch out a few things. They make it as a relaunch with a different name.
Yes.
Because they cannot pick up the same thing again. The customers won't use it again. So that's how it goes.
Customer trust is really important.
That's the only thing that will pay you money. Nothing else will pay you money. Customer comfort, customer trust, and customer's peace of mind. This is what going to make him open his pockets and give you money. If it doesn't give you money, you are not going. You are dead.
Founders should keep this in the initial stage itself in their mind.
This should be the Bible for the founders. That whatever foundation I build should be very strong, should be stable, and I need that team for a long time to support me. Yes, you can change over that team, not like you change a page. It should be slowly plugging in your team members and making them grow, making them accustomed, making them used to that, and then make a change. Else, it's overnight changes don't work anywhere. So never try that here. Get this team. If the team is good, why do you want to make a change? There is no good reason you need to make a change. You can acquire the company when you have the money. So, but basically, it's just make sure you have a good team. You can support you in the long term. Take care of you. So you delegate the whole development work to that team along with its head. They are your technology centers. You need not be. You are the marketing center. You are the customer facing because it's your idea. You know what the market feels. You know what the customer feels. Nobody else knows that. You have to be there.
That's a powerful point because many founders justify the cheap development idea by saying that they are moving fast. But are cheap and moving fast actually the same thing?
It cannot be. It should not be the same thing. It has to be totally different. Fast means you have a very good experienced team. They know the business logic. They have built a proper architecture. They have a proper process and system while the development happens. They have proper QAs in place, proper documentation in place. The code is reviewed by multiple people and then deployed. And deployed in multiple servers so that you have a production server, you have a development server, you have a test server. So this goes as a whole concept of properly derived and developed applications available. Whereas in cheap, what you do? To bring to the cost, running cost, you cut corners, you cut the QA team, you cut the multiple developers, only one one or two developers are there, you cut the architecture, you cut the project manager, you cut the multiple servers there, you just put on one server, both production and test and development, everything happens on that. These things make sure they help you kill yourself soon.
Yeah. I think the cheap development will, slow down your movement rather than fasten it up.
On the long run, yes.
Yeah.
It's like you are building something like the polished version, prototype type thing,
Yeah.
and you are happy and thinking that it's a full-grown system.
Yeah.
It's never a full-grown system. Also, some founders have a habit that I want a full-grown system. I want another Facebook to be developed. I want another Twitter to be developed. Do you think Twitter can be developed or Facebook can be developed in $2,000? Will it run?
No.
If they think it's a joke of the year. It never happens. They can understand that. They can just think, open their eyes and say it. So do you think any free developers could do that? They should have done that. They should have become millionaires themselves.
Of course.
So it's not possible. People should understand. It's only the right team with the right architecture, the right business model also. See, one of the failures, major reason is a business model. You think customers need that,
Yeah.
but you never ask anybody.
Yeah.
Do you really need that? It's like the old story I told about the dog biscuits. Nobody asks a dog whether you like these biscuits. So the same condition, you should ask the customers whether you like it. This is what I'm going to give, whether you're ready to pay for that. Is this a pain for you? The customer would be rather happy to talk to you and tell you what your pains, what his pains are, so deeply, so connected way, so nicely. You can make notes of it. That's what you need to build. This is where some of the developers take the backstage.
Yeah. All of these are important when it comes to the long run.
They are the bloodlines of one is startup growth.
Yeah.
If you're a startup, you want to grow, then these are the bloodlines. If you just want to be named as a startup and run for 2 hours on your father's funding or your state funding and then go back to work, and then all these are possible. These things are acceptable.
So, does that mean the founders should never go for cheaper options, or are there any situations where going low cost actually makes sense?
No, going low cost or going cheaper makes sense. Always it makes sense. Not for a founder who is looking at scaling. For a founder who has an idea but he has never validated or tested his idea.
Okay.
He needs to test his idea. So basic prototype can work out. A small MVP, one product problem can work. It's not cheap actually. It's reducing the initial investment cost. There's a difference, not going and finding a cheap developer to do something, but yes, your total investment, if it's your plan for $100,000, spending out $10,000 and get the MVP, validating the market, and then spending the remaining $40,000 to scale it.
Okay.
It's not that for this $10,000 you are spending $500 and getting someone to do something for you. That doesn't work out. Yes, it's the cost of investment can be reduced. That's the better way of doing, and that's the way it should be done. Because unless your idea is validated, it doesn't make sense that you are going to scale that. You will have customers for that. You don't know. And that's why you need to build something small and start scaling it to the customers you think will use. Get their validations, make them your paying customers, and you know they are going to pay you. Don't go and hit your friends or family for that because they'll be forced to pay you because they know you. No, hit the real customers. And if they're paying you, then you can validate your idea that this kind of customers, this profile of customers are my ICP.
Okay.
And if I can find more of this, I'm going to sell. That time you should exactly look at growing this on a proper scaling method with a good technology and backend for that.
So, are you suggesting that we should minimize the scope?
Absolutely. MVP, what is MVP?
Yeah.
MVP is a minimum viable product. It's a car with 4 wheels and one seat for driver and the engine. That's all. Remaining doesn't come in MVP. So why do you go think about the paint?
Okay.
If you validate that this car is going to work from here to there, people who need it, then you work on the interiors, you work on the finishing, put in better tires, high quality tires, everything you can do.
Okay.
But initially it should be MVP.
Okay.
The minimum viable product and the main core pain area is what you should be building and giving.
Okay. Rest of the features should be after the validation only.
Exactly. Anything you do should be after the validation. It's like we go and purchase something and try it out. We take a small, if you're going to hotel also, what we take a small portion of something and taste it out. If it's tasty, then we go and order further.
Yes.
Same way, you should give it for the team, that is your customers, to taste it out.
Yeah.
If they're happy with it, develop it. If not, find where is the flaw.
Yes.
Find out the reason. If it's not the reason, then your product is a kill it at that time. Don't spend more money. Don't spend more time on that. Find something else. Do some other business. Nobody is forcing you. Nobody is hitting you to do that business.
Yes.
There are multiple businesses available.
Of course.
Why are you hanging on to that if it is not successful?
Yeah.
If people don't want it,
That makes sense. That's a great distinction, knowing when to move from the speed to the stability. So, to close this episode out, what's the one major mindset shift that the founders should have when it comes to the development decisions?
there's one simple thing. It's not about how much I can save today. It's about how much I will need to spend on this, rebuild later on.
Okay.
See, cost cutting is not about what you're saving today. Cost cutting is about what I will not be spending on this again to rework on. That is
Okay.
cost cutting. And that is what the founders should be worried about. They should be worried about. And always keep that picture in mind. How much money I am not going to spend, redo the things that's been done. If that's working out, they are sure to be successful.
Yeah.
The strategy will be great. They will get successful on that. So all my startup founders who are getting into business, understand, this is a business you are doing out of passion, not out of force. No one is coming and beating you and telling you develop this and give to this customer. You found out a gap in the market, you found out a pain in the market which you are trying to solve. So if you are going to do that, solve that one major problem that you found out for the customers and validate that with the customers. Get the first 100 or 200 customers, get them onboarded, start taking money from them, and then take their feedback and rework and grow the application. That's the correct way of doing it. Don't spend money on bigger application. Don't spend money on bells and whistles in the MVP stage. MVP is to basically validate your market, check out if the market fit is right, if your customers are accepting this, they want this, and with this pain, they are ready to pay you to solve it. If this is it, then go ahead, then scale it up, then grow it. Always look at good teams, not cheap teams. People who will support you for the next 3 to 4 years during your scaling also is what you need. Not someone who does some application for you, drops in and goes. You need to find somebody else to do that. So keep the relationship intact, keep things, trust intact, and grow with them. You alone cannot grow. Grow with your team. That's going to help you and earn money. Have a great time. Share this to someone or your friends who are thinking of starting a startup or are already in the startup mode. Let them also go through this. They will get some insights that can help you not die. These ideas, these concepts, if implemented properly, will help you to sustain for a longer time and go into the scaling mode with more customers and more scale money, rather than slowly going into debt mode. Think what you want, go ahead, have a great time. It's exciting and enjoyable to build a startup, lot of fun. Live that life with fun. Bye.